And here we go. We are here in sunny Orlando. It is quite hot, and with the sun beaming right behind us through this glass window, I think I'm going to have a fried back, but that's okay. This is what we do to bring you content here from Orlando. I am Matthew Joseph, and I am thrilled to be here for the fourth year in a row. We're going to be bringing you the Smile Factor podcast live here at ISTE. And for the first year, and for the first time, I am thrilled to partner with School AI, bringing in my co-hosts who we've seen each other for 3 weeks now on the computer as we do this offline or do this from the computer side of it. But I now get to welcome in Nick. Nice to see you. He's right next to me. We are excited to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so amazing to be able to come to Orlando for the ISTE ASCD conference, connect with so many amazing educators, and still talk to people online and the people walking by. I'm excited to be here. It's been a great ride so far, and now to be face-to-face always ups the ante a little bit.
Awesome. And we are going to, speaking of online, our first interview is going to be coming to us from Kentucky, Dr. Christy Bryce. How are you doing? Welcome.
Hello, Orlando. Nice to see you all.
How are things going down there? Over there,
Great.
wherever you compared to where we are.
I'm actually on my way to Orlando this evening, so I just haven't made it there yet, but it's also very warm, very muggy in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I'm sure. So for those who don't know who you are, share a little bit about your work and who you are.
Sure. I'm Christy Bryce. In fact, I'll be presenting there on Wednesday, and I'm really eager to contribute to ASCD ISTE 2026. It's always been a fantastic conference. I know there are educators from all over the world coming, so that makes it really exciting to connect and learn from others that are going to be there. But I currently run a project called Kentucky ABRE through the University of Louisville, in which we support schools and districts across the state of Kentucky around some of their special education practices. But prior to that, I was a special education teacher and a school psychologist and a director of intervention in a school district. And so I've just come up through the world of special education and students with untapped potential, and that's what brings me here to you all.
That's great. I mean, one of the things that I've always focused on is my career as a high school English teacher and working really closely with the special ed department. As I shifted to project-based learning, the ability to differentiate is been huge, right? You know, to be able to make that personalized learning. Now we see with AI that ability to do that faster. Have you played around with AI and differentiation or accessibility at all?
That is exactly what I've been nerding out on right now. I am obsessed with Notebook LM. And in fact, I've done a lot of presentations on just the impact on pedagogy and the opportunity, especially for differentiation. And so, for example, if you've played much with Notebook LM, you've seen the audio overviews. And so honestly, right now, I'm like, are Matthew and Nick AI?
We're real. We're here. And I can see he's right over here.
Okay.
Here we are.
I'll see for myself once I arrive in Orlando.
All right. So she still doesn't believe us. All right. Stop by the podcast booth. I want to make sure to meet you.
I mean, school AI is good, but just not that good yet to have the witty banter of two people. But no, I think you're 100% correct. I think the nerding out part is the part that we hope, at least at School AI, to get teachers to start to explore, which is why we want people to come by booth 2714 to stop by and nerd out a little bit to see what you can do, because differentiation of just a year and a half ago took forever for individualized learning, and now it can be done in a matter of seconds.
Right. Using it for even, I'm thinking of like pulling up images of steps to follow to self-regulate. I mean, I can create that within 2 minutes on whichever AI feed. I don't know how much we share on specific products, but on lots of them create beautiful visuals. And you could say something like, hey, I need this for a 10th grader, or I need this for a second grader, which needs heavy, very little narrative and very focused on pictures to help the student understand. And it just like this just creates those beautiful images that in the past I had to take literal pictures of kids doing things. I had to write out differentiated text. It's amazing what's available now.
Well, and with AI literacy, like that's the other side of it, right? Is getting kids to understand how to utilize these tools to support themselves. Because, for example, right, we know that there are so many undiagnosed students that are in our classrooms, people that are slipping through the cracks. So to give a safe, accessible way for students to access AI and to have them go, hey, can you chunk this assignment for me into manageable pieces? Because maybe the kid is having difficulty with assignments, ADHD and stuff like that. So for them to be able to access these tools their own way and say, hey, this actually helps when I can change the font, I can change the chunking, I can change the reading level. And the other side of it too is I think as teachers, sometimes we just expect kids to have parents at home that can support their learning in ways that maybe was a traditional format. But not every kid has a parent that can go and sit down and do math reviews or review their 11th grade essay on Shakespeare, right? Like not everyone has, I can't help my kid with trigonometry. Like it's just not happening. And that's okay. But to give them access to these tools equitably, because that's the cool thing is if a school really has a plan to approach us from an equity standpoint, giving every kid access can really change the game in some of those kids who don't have the resources, don't have the support systems, don't have the money to access that. So have you seen any elements of that equity in what you're working and doing?
You just tapped into my passion.
That's how good he is.
So like I'm just holding back to listen also. But I actually have a book coming out in the next few weeks called the Intervention Guidebook. And part of what I'll be doing my session on will be on interventions for secondary students. And so often, and I know you said you were a high school teacher, so often secondary is left out of this conversation. So as a school psychologist, I would sometimes go to meetings and I would say, I'm sorry, the student doesn't qualify for special education. And I felt like I was saying, good luck.
Yeah.
Would enter into the classroom, no longer have some kind of designation or recognition of some kind of need. Yet just like you're saying, they're sitting before you in our classroom. In fact, the data say many of them are sitting in front of us in their classroom, struggling in academics, in social emotional learning, in college and career readiness. And so they need the supports just as much as those students with IEPs often. So I love what you're saying about using the tools we have now to give these students access to high levels of learning.
No, that's great. And I do want to jump back to one of the things you said earlier. You talked about Wednesday. You'll be coming in today. On Wednesday at 11:30, you have your session, 3 bite-sized interventions for secondary students. For those who are looking through the app and seeing so many different sessions, tell us a little bit about what that session is going to be about.
Okay, sure. First of all, I would like to say, anytime you come to my session, I believe you're going to leave with practical tools and hopefully feel inspired and motivated to go out and try some of these things. I'm a believer in bringing practitioner-friendly tools to people in solution-focused chunks that we can like access and do something with. So often secondary struggles with the implementation of larger systems like MTSS. But many times it's just because we don't give them the entry point or like the on-ramp that they can access. And so let me ask you guys this. When I ask this question, when I work with secondary people, how would you describe MTSS in your building? What do you think, what kinds of words do you think are used to describe systems of support in secondary schools?
Evolving.
I was going to say lacking.
Oh, I get words like haphazard, disconnected, pathetic. Ooh. I had once used the word pathetic. I didn't even want to repeat that.
That's strong.
So what we'll be doing is discussing some, what the research tells us are the evidence-based interventions to implement, because there are books out there on data analysis, on teaming, but when I worked with secondary teams, they'll say to me like, but we don't know what to do. So I'm trying to bring people entry points into what do they do for these kids that struggle in front of them.
And I think that makes so much sense. 15 years high school ELA, I taught a class that they called collaborative. So the state of Michigan had some rules regarding the amount of students labeled special ed that can be in a room before it's called the special ed room. That means I would have to be a certified special ed teacher. So I was always right at that threshold, and it was like 49%, right? And the support systems of essentially trying to teach two separate courses at the same time was draining. It's exhausting. And to have access to tools now that could have saved me hours and hours of prep time of trying to personally rewrite articles or short stories in ways that met their fourth, fifth grade reading level and a grade 10 course, right? And you're given a single 48-minute prep period.
Right. Well, and the problem too is that there's often not systems to support teachers. It shouldn't be left up to every single teacher to try to accommodate for these students sitting for them. There should be systems in place to make this a larger effort and not just dependent on that individual teacher.
Awesome. Well, before we get you out of here, I asked the same question to all of our first time guests, and you being one of them. And I do look forward to meeting you. We are not AI. We are here. And people who are walking by can tell you we are not AI at LM, Notebook LM. But one of the things that I always want to learn, because this podcast started with bringing people together like here at ISTE and sharing stories and sharing voices. So what does Stronger Together mean to you?
Stronger Together. Well, first of all, I love the smile factor, the title of that, of your podcast. So way to go with that. And so I think Stronger Together, we know that connectedness is what people as human beings need. And so when I think of Stronger Together, I think about my personal goal of getting every kid connected. And it's the same with adults. We all need each other. And when we feel stronger together, that's when things happen. Beautiful things happen for kids.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, for those of you who are listening in, who are checking the schedule, make sure to bookmark on Wednesday at 11:30, 3 bite-sized interventions for secondary students, and you're going to get a great treat. Dr. Bryce does amazing things. I started to research her work because we had never met, and I do hope you stop down here. We get the chance to meet in person as well, and I hope you have safe travels coming down here. Look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christy, I'm super excited. I want to nerd out with you over a secondary for sure. So we'll definitely make some time to run into each other.
Well, perfect timing. It's time to go check my sourdough bread, but I will see you all tonight in Orlando and the next couple of days.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for stopping on. And we are off and running here. ISTE is our first of 2 days of bringing you the voices. So continue to tune in. We are live. We have people watching right now. We had a couple comments out there, and we're going to be bringing you guests throughout the day today. So our next guest is already here. We're looking to jump on. Christy, have a great flight and look forward to meeting you in person.